You're listening to the Michael Baisden Show podcast.
Ladies, today is your day. This is the day for hot moms.
No, I was about to say hot breath for a
I
minute.
know.
That
That voice just throws me off. I'm
Why
not used to it.
Welcome to the Michael Baisden Show. We're talking about hot moms today.
Halitosis.
That H was on
Tanisha.
fire.
Tanisha, George, Dominique, and Miles.
Wait, he's talking about us, Tanisha.
I'm
How
trying-
are you?
Huh?
Thank
What you
you.
want?
I am trying to introduce this very important topic, and thank you for taking Altoid, Miles.
And I'm happy that you are trying to introduce, but when you say hot moms that way, can you turn
Okay,
the other
let me
way?
do
And
this.
I
Let me do it
appreciate
again.
you, bro.
Let me do it again.
Just-
Let me do it
okay.
again.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hot topic today. We're talking about hot moms.
Wow. H is hot as hell.
George,
Here, take one of these out.
you
George,
for
Mike.
once to be supporting and promoting hot moms.
Man, I'm all for cheek out moms. I
It's
can't
not
wait for the
cheek
weather
out
to break.
moms, George.
I can't wait for the weather to
Oh,
break,
gosh.
and y'all get them little shorts on and get to do gardening. Go ahead, I can't wait.
Here you go.
Hey,
Wow.
Dominique, do you have a lot of hot moms in your neighborhood?
Of course I do. I mean, we pride ourselves in working out and looking good. And, you don't let it all go just because you have kids.
Well, are you a hot mom?
I hope so.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, she's
hot.
a very hot mom.
She's
Thank
steaming
you.
hot. She's gorgeous.
I don't know about steaming. I think this is going into another area. I'm trying to be politically correct.
Right.
around here.
But
I
I
don't
see
know how
that-
hot she is.
You know
She's
what?
hot.
But when you guys are talking about the physical, I think that what makes a mother hot is not necessarily just the physical. I think her confidence. I think
Absolutely.
the
How
intelligence.
she handles a
Absolutely.
daily
What, Miles?
routine. Yeah.
Is there like an age limit that we're putting on for hot moms?
No.
'Cause I got some homegirls that's 23 years old right now, but they hot moms. Can we
No,
shout
they-
them out
no,
too? Come
no,
on now.
no.
Oh,
No.
y'all cold.
Yes.
Oh, y'all,
Why
man.
not?
No.
Why not? They're moms.
They ain't even finished blooming yet. So
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, hey,
Yeah,
come
come
on.
on.
For
Whatever.
instance, Michelle Obama is a hot mom, and she doesn't have her cheeks out, George. Right? She dresses very
I don't
conservatively.
talk about the first lady like that. That's ridiculous.
Ooh,
Why are you
look
trying to
at
set him
you.
up?
But
Can we
she's
get to the
fit
phone?
and
Look at you.
fabulous.
Can I get to the phone calls? And no, Miles, you can't be a 23-year-old hot mom.
No.
Yes, you can.
Yes,
You cannot.
I know some, but it's all right. Let's go.
All right, let's go to the phone lines
go.
and talk to the
Fast mom when you're at 23.
Let's go to the phone calls. Hey, Nikisha, talk to me. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm okay. My thing is like this. If when I met him and he liked the way I dress and now he telling me I have to change, then
See?
I don't think so.
Here we
I
go.
should dress because that's what makes me happy. I like the way I dress. And because
you.
I probably look so good, he don't want other man to look at me, and I disagree with that. But yet still they want you to change your dressing, but when they go out there and they see another woman dressed,
There you
sexy
go.
and everything, they
Now, that's
be,
true.
all in their face and stuff.
That's
so
true.
why are you telling me not to dress, sexy?
I love it. I love it.
That's true.
I agree with her 100%. Look at Tanisha. Talk to her.
That's
Talk
true.
to
And
Nikisha.
guess what? I'm going to do you better, baby girl. Let me tell you what happens. Not only that, he makes the excuse of why he ends up looking and messing with that other girl because you let yourself go.
Oh!
You don't dress the same no more. You used to wear sexy stuff. Stop playing
Come here, I'm
games.
going to hug you this time for real. Come here, girl.
And that is true.
Hey.
She's putting it down. Nikisha, what do you want to say to that?
Well, you know what? She could be right because sometimes we're trying to do stuff just to please our man, but it's not always good. So, I need to just go back to being me and dressing the way I used to
There
dress.
you go.
And forget about what he say.
You know what? We come back.
So it's all about self. It's all about self-esteem,
Nikisha, don't go anywhere. In fact, stand by for me for a second.
won't.
I want to talk to
I
you for a
won't.
second because Dominique is right about something. I want to deal with this with George. George, boy, the women are blowing up the lines, boy. My texts are blowing up about you right now. Stand by, everybody. We're talking about hot moms, women who think that they should continue to dress sexy because they're a mom and the wife shouldn't make any difference in their relationship. And many men, I agree with you, Tanisha, they look at the other woman and then say, the reason why I'm looking at her, because you let yourself go. Nikisha, say hello to Lee from D.C., Nikisha.
Hello, Lee from D.C. How are you?
Pretty good, dog. How about yourself?
I'm hanging on in there.
So what's up, Lee? What's your take on this? Let's get the man's perspective.
Well, let me keep it 100. I'm going to go back old school like George. Let me say this. First of all, when you met the woman, she was looking a certain type of way. So I don't feel a woman should change how she looks based on because a man feels a little comfortable now. I think she should stay up like she is.
Absolutely.
But one thing for certain, don't get too over. I'm gonna use the word flamboyant for the lady because once they have you, don't take us for granted. You can't keep dressing too provocative. You must keep it real to know you have a man on your side. He wants you to look good. He wants men to look at you. That's fine, well and good, but just don't forget who you with.
Yeah, but here's the question, though. Who decides how sexy she should look? Whose determination is that?
Well, it's hers. Ultimately, it's hers because she's the one to get the clothes and she's the one wearing it. But she needs to have the discernment and have the right type of balance with that is what my man's saying.
Oh, but who determines what's appropriate, though? This back to my question. Hold on, man. I want to talk to Nikisha about this. So it's the woman's decision.
Yes,
it's
her
hers.
decision.
Right.
Go ahead, Nikisha.
Yeah. Yes, first of all, like I said in the beginning, I was dressing, the way he liked me to dress. I was dressing sexy. But then when I met him, I guess because he see that I'm getting a lot of attention,
right.
then he was like, okay, you got to cut your dressing back a little bit. But I'm not going to stop. As long as I know who I am and I know my limit, I've dressed the way I want to dress. You didn't have a problem the way I was dressing, and now somebody else looking at me, you should trust me. If you can't trust me then ain't no use of us being together. It was okay before, but then now I'm getting attention. You want me to change? No. I decide how sexy I am. I look in the mirror and I say, I look good. I don't care what he or nobody else said. I've been dressing like this. Then I
take your sexy self on out there and get another man.
One that's not insecure.
Oh, touche, girl.
There you
Touche.
go.
I've never had my female friends text me this much during the show. George got them all fired up. We're talking about hot moms today. One Nation, One Grown Folks Station. Thank you all for tuning in, man. We're having a great time. Great grown folks conversation, getting our groove on with the best music and best conversation on radio. Tanisha, I'm going to get myself in trouble with you. I've been hugging you more today than I have in the last few months we've been working together.
I've been recording it all.
Go ahead. Talk to me.
I was talking about island women, and I was thinking about how sensual island women tend to be. And, I don't want to stereotype, but Puerto Rican women, Jamaican women, Trinidadian women, women from the islands, they tend to have this sensuality and they dress according to that sensuality. And I noticed that their men don't have a problem with them
you think
being
it's cultural?
sensual.
Think it's cultural?
I think so. And I think they embrace their bodies, they love their bodies, and they're not ashamed.
Samantha, talk to me. How you doing? Thanks for holding on. What's happening?
I'm doing quite well, thanks. Thanks for having me. That point of women dressing sensually or women being confident about their bodies and about how they're presenting themselves. I'm going to be honest, when I was in my car listening to this radio station, the only thing that came into my mind was, wow, the straight people are at it again, having these real heterosexual conversations.
Check that out.
And, not to make fun of the straight people and their plight, but the idea that a woman has to present herself in a way that is either soliciting attention or in a way that is presenting what her character is or presenting what she is other than a piece of clothing. It's just a piece of clothing. It's something that she's wearing. There's a lot of women who aren't confident with their bodies, a lot of women who walk out of the house with minimal clothing on, very tight dress, very short skirt. Very low-cut blouses, and it says nothing about their level of confidence. It just says something about what they put on that day.
Samantha, let me ask you something, because I have a lot of close friends that are LGBTQ+, and I hear the same kind of conversations about what you're wearing, how you're judging your partner based on what they're wearing, if they're seeking attention, jealousy coming up as an issue in those relationships, too. So, I don't think it's just
jealousy is always an issue. Jealousy is always an issue,
and
how we present ourselves is always a topic of conversation. But I always find it hilarious, this focus on the feminine spectrum and how feminine people present themselves, not just women, but how feminine people present themselves. I'd like to hear a conversation at least once or twice about how men present themselves. Not that it's valid, but just to show some duality of the conversation. I was waiting for the conversation to take the turn of, Marcus always wore a suit and tie when we were dating, but now he's let himself go. I just always find it odd that we're always putting the burden of healthy presentations of self on the feminine spectrum. So across communities, whether that be heterosexual communities, LGBTQ communities, we're always policing the way feminine people express themselves when it comes to the way they dress. And that's concerning for me.
So what do you want to say to Milton? Say hello to Milton, Samantha.
Hey, Milton.
Hello, Samantha. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I was driving down the street, and I'm not sure which MC it was that basically indicated that as far as the dress is concerned, I really believe that a lady, if they're a mother or if they're a wife, that they should dress respectable. However, I did hear someone say, well, I'm paraphrasing. She said, well, I'm going to be respectful, but I'm going to do me.
That was me.
That was Dominique.
Yep,
yeah, that sounds like her.
Oh, yeah. Dominique, are you married or are you with someone?
I am separated.
Now I understand, because when a person does that right there, you're saying that I'm gonna do me. If you're respectful to your husband or boyfriend,
that's not fair
right
because
now,
you don't know our situation.
You don't have someone. You want attention.
No.
Bring Samantha. Hold on before you say
Let Samantha take care of it.
Samantha,
But
go
that's
ahead.
not the truth.
Hold on, Dominique. Samantha, what do you want to say?
Get him.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Milton, I appreciate you being so
Honest.
so forthright with your opinion, albeit an antiquated opinion, but it's still your opinion. And I think in these moments, before we go to attack the Miltons and say, Milton, that's an outdated perspective, I have to look at everything that Milton sees every day that reinforces what he just said.
How about that?
So, Milton, it's not your fault.
Milton, go ahead, Milton.
Okay, well, what I was saying here, basically, again, most women that are married, or if they're just, mothers that's with a boyfriend or a husband, then they are going to dress respectful. But when she said that she was going to do her, I just wanted to confirm she was saying that I'm single, and I wanted to confirm that, because now she's saying I'm gonna do me, so I'm going to, if he's feeling differently, then basically
we got it. Dominique, we only
Go
got
ahead,
so much
Dominique.
time. Go ahead,
Okay,
Dominique.
Milton, you're making a lot of assumptions, honey. I have never had a problem with the way I dress being disrespectful. I just feel that it is up to me to dress how I say, not my husband, not my boyfriend, not my son, and most definitely not you.
Woo!
So, that doesn't mean I'm walking around looking like a thought. It just means I'm going to do me.
And the thing about it is, to me, Dominique is very, the most appropriately dressed woman I have probably ever seen.
I saw what a chick got once. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Tanisha.
But even at the end of the day, I'm a married woman, by the way, Milton. Let me let you know. And my husband understands I'm my own woman, and he likes me to dress the way I want to. The only thing I do is consider if we are at a work event for him. I don't want him coming to my work event, like Sammy said, with a moose knuckle.
But other than that, you dress the way you want to dress.
I do, and I don't want him coming looking all kinds of crazy, at my work.
And by the way, Milton, I've never had trouble getting attention from a man.
You're saying we were talking about respectful and disrespectful is what I'm saying here. And here I was asking here, if you're saying that, I asked you word because after hearing your conversation, I assumed that you were single.
Why?
And then
why did you assume that? That's what I want to know.
Well, she's saying, if I'm with a man and he paraphrasing, that if he can't take it, too bad.
But you know what? I was married for 17 years, and I never had a problem with it.
How about that? Samantha, any final words for Milton, men like Milton, or just for women in general? Talk to me.
Definitely. I have so many final words for men, women, people like Milton in general. If the concept of doing you or the concept of doing me is a deal breaker in a relationship, or the concept of me valuing myself over top of the relationship is a deal breaker for a relationship, it's not a relationship I want or need. Because if you don't want me in my complete self and in my happiest self, then for real, you don't want me.
That's my girl.
Let's be honest. People change. People evolve.
Absolutely.
So, the way I dress now might not be the same way that I dress 20 years from now.
That's right.
Or whatever partner I have at that time, if they're not comfortable at that time, then they need to do them, and I'll go do me.
I just think it's great for women, whether or not they're mothers, whether or not they're wives. That's one of the things that we miss. We miss the spiciness. You need to keep whoever you are. That's a reflection of you. You can't tone that down for an insecure man or an insecure woman. Go ahead, Tanisha.
You should always be true to who you are. And you're not living your life for somebody else's happiness. I don't want to end up living my life looking back and say, well, my husband was happy with everything I did. But was I happy with the way that I lived my life?
And as a mom, you and Dominique, let me say this and say goodbye to Samantha. As a mom, Dominique and Tanisha, you first, Dominique, you still are a woman. And that's why we did this series called Hot Moms. Touch on that real quick and then say goodbye to Samantha, Dominique.
Yeah, we're women. We're three-dimensional, and we have lots of other interests besides just how we look and how others react to us. And I love Samantha's point about taking the pressure off the feminine and looking at all of us and how we present ourselves.
Sammy, you've been great today. Thank you for calling into the show.
Outstanding.
Where you calling us from?
I'm Samantha G. I'm calling from Baltimore. I'm a poet based in this area.
Oh, you got to do some poetry for us then.
Yes.
Hey, hold on for us so we can get a number for you, okay, Samantha?
Definitely.
All right, hold on. We're going to get Samantha's information. Let me try to put her on hold right here. Don't go anywhere, Sam. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. I want to talk to you also about your kids. What do your kids think about how you dress, whether or not they're embarrassed? Because sometimes, Mom, you got to be appropriate even if you're sexy. Talking about hot moms on the Michael Baisden Show. Go ahead, Joanne. What's going on?
Yeah, Mike, I had to call back. You know you wrong.
What? What do you do? What I do?
You tried us, Mike.
What? How do you mean, Joanne?
Talking about how we dress and how we look, and she got too much booty. Hey, some people don't have no booty. They buying booty.
They buying booty. She said they buying booty.
Joanne.
Yeah, they getting booty shots.
Right.
So, hey.
But what are you upset with
Work
me?
what you got, like they said. If you got it, baby, flaunt it.
Joanne, does it matter if you're married or if you have kids?
No, it don't matter. Mm-mm. Like they said, shake what your mama gave you.
Right.
People mamas ain't get him nothing.
Joanne, can I ask you a question?
Joanna,
are you really a Joanna?
I'm over 50.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm over 50, and look, like my daughter be telling me, I tell her, look, honey, I ain't dead. I'm above ground.
Okay.
Barely.
Joanna, thank you so much for calling to the show. You are a hot mom, right, Joanna?
Ain't gonna stay that way.
Rest of her life.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you for calling to the Michael Baisden Show.
She said put some respect on her name.
Oh, my God. Way to put it down. You wanted Grown Folks Radio. You got it.
Thanks, family, for listening to the Michael Baisden Show podcast, sponsored by VideoPitch.com. Go to VideoPitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. That's VideoPitch.com. Write it down, family. Write it down. VideoPitch.com.
The children are calling into the show, putting their parents on blast, saying, Mom,
Yes.
you're embarrassing me. Call in right now to the Michael Baisden Show. Don't forget to join me on Instagram at Baisden Live or Michael Baisden Live. I heard that's where all the cool and sexy people are hanging out on Instagram. You can hit me on Michael Baisden Show and Michael Baisden Live on Facebook as well. Baisden on the phone line with us right now. We got 12-year-old Nyla.
Yeah.
Nyla, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good,
Okay, what's going on? Why did you call the Michael Baisden Show, young lady?
Traumatized, bro.
because I wanted to tell you guys, my mommy do dress appropriate, but at the same time, she dressed sexy, and my dad loves it.
Oh, Dominique, go ahead. I'm gonna let you handle this. Go ahead, D.
See, so you're cool with it. If your dad is happy and your mom is happy, you're happy?
Yes.
Hey, what's her name?
Nyla.
Nyla. Your mom and daddy made you say that?
No.
Your
But
mom-
see,
Go ahead.
they're the parents and she's the kid. I mean, I don't think we should traumatize our children, but at the
We
same
shouldn't.
time, they don't run things. We are.
They are the
parents.
kids. We
run
are the
things.
parents.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hey, Nyla, let me ask you something. So, your mom, does she dress sexy? Does she dress like really nice?
Yes, on the weekend.
On the weekend.
weekend.
Ah. So when your mom is out, do you like see men looking at your mom?
Oh my goodness.
Michael.
I'm just
Yes,
asking.
I do.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel good because I know that my mom's pretty.
There
so
you
people
go.
know it
Wow.
too.
There you go.
And when you get older, you think you'll probably dress like your mom, or you have a different style?
Good question.
I'll definitely dress like my mom.
Wow.
Wow.
Let me speak to your mom. We want to talk to her real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Miss, did you threaten that child and have them force her to call into the Michael Baisden Show and say those things about you?
I promise I didn't. I promise.
So how do you feel that you're setting a great example for your daughter? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It's
should.
it's very important. I thank God that I waited later to have kids too, me and my husband, because Had this been a good 20 years ago, yeah.
Could have been a
It's a
problem.
little bit different.
Yeah. So what do you want to say to all the moms
She
out
don't know
there?
that's how I got her daddy.
Wow. Hey, thank you for calling in. Let me say goodbye to Nyla before we go. She's such a sweet child.
Okay, here she goes.
Okay.
Hello.
Nyla, thank you for calling to the Michael Baisden Show. We love you. Thank you so much.
So much.
Okay, love you too.
Bye-bye.
bye,
Thank
Nyla.
you. Oh, what a great call. What great calls. Thank you all so much for being a part of the conversation today. We're talking about hot moms. And I'm going to say this before we even get into this call. We got Charles on hold, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Women should dress the way they want to dress. They should be dressed in a way that's comfortable. I agree with what Tanisha said earlier. Men will say, hey, baby, you're dressing too sexy, but that's a thing that attracted you. And then they give other women attention and tell the woman you're not being sexy enough. I will never forget that point. That was a very good point.
Thank you.
Can you say hello to Charles?
Hey, Charles, how's
No,
it
you
going?
didn't say his name right.
Charles. How's it going, Charles? How you doing, Charles?
Charlie.
I'm doing fantastic. I just wanted to say I enjoy you guys' show. You
Thank
guys
you.
do a great job.
Thank you.
I wanted to get this comment in before I have to wait on the Social Security check. You guys took so long and put me on hold. I thought maybe I could get Social Security.
Take your time, Charles. Take your time.
No, I just wanted to comment. I'm married to a very sexy lady. She just happens to be Puerto Rican, but I've dated a lot of women prior to marrying her, and some of which were not well endowed. But the thing that was most important to me was not whether they were endowed or not, was whether or not they cared for me, because it wouldn't have really mattered one way or the other, if I really cared and really loved them. And I just really wanted to make sure that I gave them self-confidence and the confidence in themselves, whether they were or not. And that's my only comment.
And what
today.
about the way they dress, Charles? Because that's what it's all about. How did you feel about the way she dressed? Were you comfortable with that? Or was it about her being comfortable and you being okay?
Well, I was comfortable. She was comfortable as well. I mean, the ladies that I dated and had relationships with, self-confidence for me was the most important thing. And if they were confident in themselves, I found that no matter what they wore, apparel-wise, they were okay with me.
How about that? Thanks for being a grown man, Charles. Thank you for holding, man. He said my Social Security check was coming. He's been holding so long. Say his name again, Tanisha.
Charles. What's going on, Charles?
Hey.
Sound like you was in the color purple.
I know, right? Thank you for calling, Charles. We appreciate you, brother. Take care of yourself. It's not just radio, it's education, it's college, man. That's what we have, conversation, grown folks conversation each and every day. Thank you all for tuning in. All my young old heads, too, man. I want to start talking to my 20 and 30-year-olds as well, man. We know we call it adult radio, but you all are adults, and thank you all for tuning in. We talk about sexy dressed moms. We call it hot moms because we want to try to encourage women to have self-esteem and to dress the way they want to dress and be themselves regardless if they're mothers or not and regardless if they're wives or not. And I think that we as men, I'm going to say this as a grown man, we got to deal with our insecurities, our possessiveness, Tanisha.
Yes, just because we're together doesn't mean you own me. Does not mean you choose what I wear.
Wow.
Now, mind you, I lay out my husband's clothes sometimes.
Go ahead, Dominique.
Well, yeah, and that's true because controlling is what causes problems in the relationship. You don't want me to control you. You don't want me to ask you a million questions. Kendrick Lamar has a quote that I love. To keep it 100, I'd rather that you trust me than to love me.
Wow, that's deep. Lakia, what do you say?
I mean, I totally agree. I've been married almost 5 years, and my husband, still to this day, he tells me I cannot dress sexy unless I'm around him. And I got a problem with that.
What? What do you what do you think is going on? What do you think is going on?
I think he just knows how men are, and he thinks that, I'm going to get hit on, and
You
he doesn't
are.
want men staring at me.
You are going to get hit on.
And the thing about it is he should trust me, being his wife this long, and, I just feel like, I should wear whatever I please.
Well, men will hit on a woman if she's in a burlap sack.
Thank you
I was
very
just
much.
about to say
I was
that. I
thinking the
get hit
same
on the
thing.
most when I
Yes.
look terrible. When I'm wearing sweats and stuff,
Yes.
and go to the gas station, everybody wants your number.
So it's a matter of him trusting
Right.
her.
Thank you. You think he's got a trust issue, Lakia? Talk to us.
I mean, I don't think he has a trust issue. It's just that he knows. Even when we're out together, he sees how men just stare, and you know, some men are blunt, and they will just conversate right in front of him. So I mean, I guess
hold on, wait. That's something that you need to check, not him.
That's a problem.
It's up to you to check that, not him. But look,
and I do.
I know. Lakia, let me say this to every other woman listening to this show right now. This cannot happen. Yeah, a man cannot tell his woman you can't be sexy unless you're out with me. We choose you all because you all are beautiful to us. You all should be able to celebrate that beauty in a way that is appropriate, but not necessarily under our control. Look, do your thing, Lakia. Live your life to the fullest. Life is too short. Tell your man to either trust you or not. Give me that quote again from Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yeah. To keep it 100, I'd rather that you trust me than to love me.
People texting me right now saying y'all getting people in trouble doing these shows.
I know, man. I can't even get no jokes in. It's ridiculous.
Talking about hot moms. Thank you all for being a part of the Michael Baisden Show. Tanisha was talking to Lakeisha. That's funny. Tanisha was talking to Lakeisha. Say what you said off the air.
I was saying the reason why he's being a little bit possessive and saying, you know, I know how men are. Because maybe on his end, he's doing something that he should not be doing.
You co-signed on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of times when they're creeping, they get more suspicious. But, you know, it all comes down to trust. If you don't want to be treated controlling, then you can't be a controller.
Gloria, what do you say to all this? Thank you for hanging out with us. Talk to me.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I'm just calling just to tell you guys a story real quick. I was in a court case. And the young lady was attacked, road rage, and the police officer came and testified on her behalf. But when we went into the jury room, the men on the jury, all they kept saying was that I can't believe she came to court dressed like that. And she lost the case because she wasn't dressed properly.
Wow.
She lost it because of the way she was dressed.
You know what? Race is a huge issue in this country. But misogyny and issues related to women, this is why the Me Too movement is so big, because it's something that has been underlying all this time. Men have issues with powerful women. Men have issues with confident women. Men have issues with women who express themselves.
And
they do.
Here's the thing. Our clothing doesn't define us, but what's sad is we live in a society that they're going to treat you a certain way based on the way you dress.
Yeah, and
not
more
about
so
who
for
you
women.
are.
More so for women.
It's
hey,
sad, though.
Gloria, thank you for that story.
Thank
I
you.
apprent you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank
you, lady. We're back, and we're
Thank
staying
you.
back, too. You better recognize that. Thank you all for tuning in and being a part of this conversation. Thank you all for tuning in to Facebook and Twitter as well. And everybody listening to my voice, if you have a story to tell, if you have a business to pitch, if you have a film, if you're a comedian, if you have a talent, please go to videopitch.com. And don't forget, you can listen to us on the app afterwards. Download the Michael Baisden Show podcast. And those of y'all who have Echo devices, please go and set your skill setting to Michael Baisden Show. So when you get home, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play the Michael Baisden Show.
Thanks, family, for listening to the Michael Baisden Show podcast, sponsored by videopitch.com. Go to videopitch.com now and be a part of our growing community of writers, video producers, and filmmakers, and get paid to share your business, opinion, and talent with the world. That's videopitch.com. Write it down, family. Write it down. Videopitch.com.